Welcome to the first episode of the 8-week summer challenge. For those of you listening on the podcast, I am going to be doing a YouTube series about this as well. I would highly recommend watching that because there's going to be a lot of visuals with this as well. I'll leave the link to my YouTube channel in the description below. For those of you that are following me on YouTube and that don't know about the podcast, I also am doing this simultaneously with the podcast I run, which is the Last Diet podcast. So you can check that out as well if you're here on YouTube. So there will be a bit of crossover. But I've been wanting to do this for a while, guys. I've been wanting to do a bit of a series on YouTube and document just some of the fitness stuff that we're doing within the program at the moment. So for those of you that follow me on Instagram, again, check out the description for the handle for that. We're doing an 8-week challenge within our program. So between now and 15th of December, we're going to be doing an 8-week weight loss fitness challenge, right? Now, I'm going to be doing this myself. So I'm doing a cut for the next 8 weeks as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be releasing one YouTube video every week, and we're going to be detailing the whole thing, okay? So in today's episode, what I want to do is I just want to kind of introduce everything. I wanted to give you an update of my starting point. I wanted to talk you through the plan I'm going to be using, specifically how many calories I'm going to be eating, the types of workouts, steps, all that stuff. And I'm also going to kind of talk through how to set yourself up for success before you start any plan. Okay, so if you are someone who would also maybe like to do this, and maybe at this moment in time you're not feeling amazing in yourself or your body, or these next 8 weeks, if you want to follow along at the YouTube channel, it may give you some inspiration to actually start your own journey. So in today's episode, I'm actually going to just talk you through how you'd set it up and how it would work, right? I'm going to show you some visuals here as well, just through my plan, my starting weight, my progress pictures and stuff like that. And I'm going to explain exactly why you should use these things too if you're going to be starting your own plan, okay? I'm also going to be sharing stuff from our group, guys. So we're running a group challenge. So I have over 20 participants in a group 8-week fitness challenge, basically. And all these people are going to be going through a similar journey to me. And they're going to have lots of wins, lots of struggles, lots of ups and downs through this whole thing. We have a WhatsApp group as well where we're going to be sharing our journey. So I will be taking some lessons from that as well, so that, again, anyone watching this can relate to some of the stuff that they're going through, because you're probably going to go through the exact same thing. Right, so let's kick this off with my starting point. So it's really, really important, guys, if you're starting any fitness journey, right, that you get a starting point and you take ownership. So often I see people that start a fitness journey, but they never actually want to accept where they're at. So they'll just almost start and they'll have no metrics to assess if they're progressing. And the biggest issue with this is fitness journey, especially when it comes to weight loss and body image and all of that, right? There's so much emotion that comes with it. There's so much emotional attachment to it. And I always say this to my clients, it's like, we need facts over feelings, because you can feel a certain way in a given day. Have I progressed? Maybe I'm feeling a small bit different. Or another day you're like, no, I feel like I've gone way backwards. I've gone back to square one. It's all feelings. So you have to get objective data to use along your journey. This is my biggest job as a coach. It's actually bringing people out of the emotional spiral that they're in and actually giving them some objectivity with the data that we use along the way as well. Okay, so let me show you where I'm starting. So I took these pictures today. So within our app, for all the people in our challenge, we have our first task is to take progress pictures and get a starting weight. Okay, so we can use the metrics. So basically, this is where I'm going to be starting now. I'm actually relatively lean, to be fair. I'm not going to be crazy far away from where I want to be. And I am actually doing, I haven't mentioned this yet, but I've a holiday coming up in December in Hawaii, right? So the idea of this was just actually make a push for Hawaii and just be in the best position possible going into Christmas. Okay, so sitting on a beach in December, I'm hoping to feel amazing, and then obviously give me some leeway going into Christmas, where I'm not going to be thinking too much about dieting. I'm just going to be enjoying it. So it's kind of like, do the hard work now and then enjoy the benefits of it at the end of it. So as you can see, I'm pretty lean. I've got some abs coming through. Still got a bit of leanness around. So I haven't got a crazy amount of body fat to lose, but I will be hoping over these next 8 weeks to drop at least maybe 8 to 10 pounds, which will put me in a really, really strong position, right? So these are just the back picture, and here is the side picture as well. Ignore the lovely bed sheets. Okay, So basically, that's my starting point in terms of the pictures, right? So here is the actual plan itself, right, in all its glory. Basically, I've created one of these plans for each one of the participants of our 8-week challenge, right? All individualized to them. So with this, basically what we have is we have all our metrics laid out so that we know what our targets are going to be for the next 8 weeks. So you can see here, I've just got all my kind of data. My start weight's about 167 pounds. I'm going to be dropping hopefully to about 158 to 160. Start date is going to be Monday coming. And then our end goal is going to be the 15th of December. So that's going to be 8 weeks from that start date. Okay. I've just got videos down here as well, just to kind of help our clients through the journey. Just some videos explaining all the elements of the actual program itself. So up here, right, here are my targets. So it's a very, very simple plan. And a lot of people overcomplicate the plan so much. They think that they need to be, doing something special, that they need to be doing extremes. But it's like, it's so simple, this stuff. 90% of this game is mental. I promise you that. It's all in the mindset. It's like you basically sticking at something long enough to see the results and not talking yourself out of it and justifying, sabotaging yourself because of certain situations that come up, right? So I'm going to be starting at around 21 to 2200 calories. Okay, so it's going to be a decent deficit for me because I'm pretty active. But if I do that pretty accurately as well, I should be able to lose a good bit of body fat without giving up my whole life either, because that's a lot of food once you do it right. Protein targets for me about 160 grams plus. For a lot of people that started the challenge, I actually didn't give them any protein targets because I don't think it's necessary for everyone. This is more for me to kind of get the maximum out of it, whereas some people don't even know what a protein is, so I don't give them targets because it's just too complicated. Calories are king, right? If you want to do really well in terms of weight loss, focus on calorie intake. That's going to be your biggest driver of fat loss, right? If not the only driver, really. Protein's great because it keeps you full, and it also helps you retain your muscle. But for the majority of people, especially if you're new to it, calories are going to be king. So starting with your calorie intake. So for males, I would say they're probably going to be maintaining it around 2,700 calories, 2,600 calories, depending on how much weight you have, how much lean mass you have, how active you are. For me, I think I'd probably maintain around 2,800 calories, true calories. Maybe even a bit more because I'm doing a lot at the moment. But I'm going to give myself just about just a range of 100 or 200 calories just to kind of play around with and just kind of work through that. All right. My step target's going to be 13,000 plus, and that's going to include my my soccer and just general activity as well. So 13,000 for me is easy. For a lot of people, it won't be. Okay. For people in the challenge, some of them are doing like 8,000 steps. Some of them are doing more than me, 14,000 steps. It depends on their current lifestyle. So I always base it off of how easy do you find it to get steps. Because I think once you're above 8,000, 10,000, you're in a pretty good place. And after that, you should probably concentrate more on the food than the actual activity. For me, then I'll be doing 2 soccers, maybe even 3 a week. So I'll have 1 match and I'll have 1 train session. I will need to just be careful as well of my calories around this because I don't want to be wrecked, and I don't want my performance to be affected too much. That's probably one of my biggest concerns is my performance on the pitch. So I'm going to basically be using a strategy called calorie cycling in order to kind of compensate for that as best I can. I'll talk about that in future videos. I'll also be using that for events and stuff to come up as well. So that will just help kind of negate some of the higher calorie days and by having some low calorie days as well. But I'll talk about that in another video. And then finally, my gym sessions, I'm going to be doing 3 upper gym sessions and I'm going to be doing 1 rehab session. I'm not doing a major amount of legs at the moment because of soccer and it just takes too much out of me. So my major leg session is more about rehab and just kind of movement. And then I have 3 upper body sessions as well just to maintain my muscle mass as we go through it. So that's basically my plan, guys. That is where I'm starting off, right? So once you see here on the tracker as well, this is basically where we're going to be keeping tabs of all our data. Now, for people that are starting their own plan, you don't need a fancy data sheet like this, but you do need to take the metrics, okay? Because if you don't, again, you've no data and you're going to be just going off of feeling, which is not going to work really well. So what we do within our challenges, we're going to be taking weight averages. So I'm basically going to be able to log all my weight here and we're going to get averages over the 8 weeks. And the beauty of this is weight fluctuates because of many things: dehydration, stress, water retention, bloating, all these things, right? Outside of fat loss. So with averages, it just allows us to get a true representation of what's actually going on with your body fat. So for us, we're looking at more the averages throughout the weeks as opposed to one-off eating. Your weight can jump up 2 or 3 pounds overnight. It doesn't mean you put on body fat. It just means you're holding on to water. So with this, it just allows us to be more accurate. So I like to take at least 3 or 4 readings a week. I'll probably be taking more. I'll probably take 7, just if I can. If I miss a day or two, it doesn't really matter. But the more data I have, the more accurate the average is going to be, and we're going to get our participants to do that as well. I'm going to be typing in my calories as well, just for accountability. So how many calories I'm hitting on a given day. So I know then if some days have gone over, then I can at least compensate for it, or I'll look back and I'll know why we haven't progressed as much on that given week. Protein targets, step count as well, stay accountable. And then I have a little comment box here. I love to use this, right? Because you can look back in the weeks and you can actually see what's come up. So some weeks, for example, you might have a lot on and you might think, okay, I might have actually slowed down that week. You can be honest with yourself. I had a client before, and she was just a little bit annoyed that her fat loss wasn't as fast as she wanted it to be, even though it was moving pretty well. And I asked her, I was like, okay, do me a favor, go back over your tracking sheet and count how many events you've had and how many dinners out you've had since you started. And when she went back, she was mind blown, because she had way more than she thought she'd had. And then she realized that, okay, the amount of progress she made was actually pretty fair considering how much she went out. And a lot of the times we fool ourselves with this. We get annoyed, we're like, I should be further ahead and this and that. It's like, you can't fool the data. So if you're honest with the data, then you can't fool it. You can look back and you can be objective, as opposed to blaming something out of your control, which it isn't. It's always in your control. You just got to do things right. You just got to be honest with yourself. So we'll keep track of these. So a lot of people here will writing things such as events they've had on, if you got a sickness. Some of my female clients will put in their menstrual cycle because that will affect the weight and stuff like that. So it's just a great little thing to have. And then I just have a little recipe library here as well. So I'm going to be using this, and all the clients are going to be using this just for inspiration in terms of food choices and stuff like that. Tracking calories is fantastic, but we still want food quality to be up. If you track calories and you're hitting your calories accurately, you will lose weight. Doesn't matter what you eat. You will lose weight. The problem is, if your food quality isn't high, you're going to start to get really hungry. So with food quality, we want to keep it high because we want to keep ourselves fuller. We want to have more energy to support everything we're doing on a day-to-day basis. And obviously for our health as well. It's just important to have that. So then the last thing here I have actually is like a body weight tracker. So this will be automatically populated as we go through this, right? And for those of you on podcast, I know you can't see all these things now, but like I said, watch the YouTube video if you want to see the visuals. But basically what we have here in the tracking sheet is a place where our weights are going to go in here. So our weekly average weights are going to go in here, and we're going to have a visual representation of that on a graph. I think this is fantastic for clients who get very caught up in weight, right? Because a lot of the times with weight, it'll go up and down, and people will get very frustrated when they step on the scales. But when you visually map it out, you can see that all the ups and downs will eventually work themselves out. And we'll be looking at the trend line as opposed to the one-off readings. So over the 8 weeks, we should be looking at a downward trend. And that's what matters the most. Because if you're focusing just on a one-off reading, it's going to wreck your head. And a lot of people are so focused on hitting a really low number that they do stupid things to get there. So for us, it's not about that. It's about doing the right things consistently, and the weight will take care of itself. But the visual representation is always good to have. So guys, that is pretty much it. And I know it seems simple, but all them things I've just gone through that's all you actually have to focus on. People try to overcomplicate this so much and try to do way too much. But even for my plan there, I'm doing quite a lot. And the reason I'm doing a lot is because I'm naturally doing a lot. That's what I'll do anyway, right? But for a lot of people that are in the program, some of them aren't even doing a gym program because they just aren't at that stage yet. They're not confident enough to go yet, and they have a lot of weight to lose. So it's a case of, right, let's start with the biggest rocks. And the biggest rocks are always going to be nutrition, number one. Okay, get your calorie intake right, and you're winning, you're most of the way there with that. After that, then it's food quality. Keep the food quality high, and you're going to be able to sustain the calorie deficit because you're not going to be starving yourself, right? And enjoy the food as well. It's really important you're enjoying the food. And we're going to be, along the 8 weeks, I'm going to be giving a lot of recipe ideas to our group. But I'm also going to be giving a lot of education around how you can actually fit foods in to your calorie deficit and still enjoy your life without sacrificing everything. Because yes, we want to push for 8 weeks, but if you give up every single thing in your life, then you're going to hate the journey and you're going to give up, or you're not going to learn anything. You're just going to go back to square one after anyway. So it's important not to give up everything. Yes, we want to prioritize, but at the same time, not totally give up everything. In terms of the plan, like I said, with the exercise side of things, you can, if you enjoy exercise, some people find exercise easy. They actually, that's the part that they actually like. So if you find it easy and you're doing it now, then keep doing it. You don't have to change anything majorly. There's no special workouts. There's no special exercise. It's like the stuff you enjoy, the stuff that works. I always like to go for the steps first because I think steps are the easiest for people. Everyone can do it. Anyone can walk. Doesn't matter what age you are, doesn't matter what fitness you are, you can walk. For our clients, a lot of them, I'm just, for their cardio, if you want to call it that, I'm just getting them to go for a brisk walk, basically 2-3 times a week, and then keeping their steps average high throughout the week. And that's going to make a lot of difference in terms of their calorie expenditure, which makes the calorie deficit easier to sustain as well. So that's it for the plan. It's simple stuff. And outside of that, then it's just mindset. It's like, what are you going to come up against over the next 8 weeks that is going to actually throw you off? And I'm going to be documenting that as we go through the next 8 weeks as well, right? Because there's going to be things that are going to come up for me. There's going to be things that are going to come up for people in the group. And I'm going to talk through them things, right? So that we can normalize them and we can stop making it seem like everyone's finding this journey easy. Because it isn't supposed to be easy, right? There's going to be tough times at some stage. But a lot of the time, we catastrophize that. It's like you have a little slip and then you think, I've ruined it. And maybe the scale's hiked up, you think you've ruined it. You haven't ruined it. Your mind is the only thing now that will ruin it. It's like if you go now and take this and run with it and give up and sabotage everything you've been working towards, then it's ruined. But it hasn't been ruined from one moment, from one meal out, from one extra drink, from one bad, even week. Nothing's ruined. It's just slowed you down. And it's then about what are you going to do? How are you going to react to it? Are you going to let it spiral? Are you actually just going to pick yourself up and go again? And the people that can do that the best are the people that get the best results. And the quickest results as well. The quicker you reset yourself and let it go, the faster your results. And that's what I've got really good at. It's not that I'm going to be perfect this journey. There's going to be slips. But I know that I can pick myself back up and I can go back and really quickly. Just before we close this out, guys, something that's really important, because look, okay, this is a 8 week push, right? And yes, it's exciting and Christmas coming. It's like, okay, let's get in great shape. But the way I explain this to all our clients is that this is about the long-term future, right? We want this to be the starting point. We want it to be the kickstart that they have to keep going. It's not a case of get great results by Christmas and then that's it. They want to be able to take that on beyond Christmas. And this is kind of like the starting point to give them some momentum and motivation and obviously educate them how to do it as well. Okay. So what I would advise you to do if you are starting this journey as well, try to understand why you want to start this. Like I took every one of our participants through like a reflective goals form to ask them why this is important to them. What's the driver for them to start this right now? And I always say to them, like, ask yourself why 3 times. Why do you want to start this? Okay, I want to lose weight. Well, why is that important to you? Because I don't feel comfortable in clothes. Well, why does it matter if you feel comfortable in clothes? Because I'm not going out anymore and I'm socially isolating myself and it's actually depressing me. And that's when it starts to get deeper, okay? So the deeper you go with this, the more powerful it's going to be and the more motivation you're going to have to stick at it as well. Okay, motivation comes and goes, but like once you have the why, it basically keeps you moving forward. Doesn't, like, regardless of how you're feeling, regardless of the motivation. Okay, so figure out what your why is, because without that, realistically, you're going nowhere. Okay, the why behind this is so important. Right, I'm going to finish this off with just one last thing. Right, before you start any fitness journey, and a lot of my clients are going to be doing that now over the next couple of days. Right, is you need to try to prepare yourself for what's coming. Okay, so the more you plan and prepare, the easier this becomes, especially if you're new to it. I don't need to prepare too much or plan too much because I know how to do this just automatically now because I've done it so many times. But if it's your kind of first time or first few times doing this, it's important you set yourself up for success. So the first thing to do, I would say, is make sure you get your food chopped on. Having a rough idea of the food you're going to be eating, okay? Because that will just take a lot of the thinking out of it. Okay, we don't want decision fatigue to ruin you, especially in the first few days. So get your shopping, right? Get a decent food shop with the kinds of foods you like, but you know that will also be able to fit into your calorie intake, right? Whatever that is. Next thing is meal prep to some extent if you have to. Now it depends on your life. If you work from home and you have all the time in the world to cook, that's different. If you have a really busy job and you have kids and all that, then you need to look at just doing some form of meal prep. Now it doesn't have to be prepping all your meals. It could be a simple thing of like just knowing what you're going to have for dinner for the next couple of days. Even if you haven't prepped it, just kind of know what the ingredients are and know that you're going to make when you come home or whatever. Or make a bulk amount of food when you cook Monday's dinner, make it enough for the lunch next day or the next 2 days. Maybe on Sunday you'll just do one big kind of prep that will keep you going at least till Wednesday. Again, it might be just dinners. It might be just lunches. It might even be just your breakfast. But do something that's going to, again, take away the pressure of trying to be perfect with it. Now, you're not always going to hit your targets. You're not always going to have an easy day of eating, but the more you prep and the more you plan, the easier it'll become. Some days you're just going to go off and you might end up having cereal for breakfast and cereal for dinner. And it's happened to me before. If that happens, so be it. It'll happen sometimes, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you failed or you've done bad. It doesn't even mean you haven't lost weight on that day. It just means that it's maybe not the most nutritious thing and it's not ideal, but it's fine for one day. You want to eat your calories, it's fine. But again, it's just the more you're prepared, the easier this becomes. So try to plan in advance. The other thing I would say is schedule out your week and try to forecast things that are coming up. So if you have events coming up, plan ahead. Okay, so think about it. How are you going to work around them? So for example, if you have a night out, it's like, okay, where are you going drinking? If you're drinking, how much? Can you drive to the event? Do you have to eat out? Okay, well, what's on the menu? What are you going to eat? So just plan in advance. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but setting intentions can be really, really strong. So if you do that every week before the week comes, at least you're not taken off guard, right? You're going to have things that are going to come up, yes, but the more you can plan, again, the easier it's going to be. And then you can deal with some other things that will eventually or inevitably come up as well as that, okay? And then I suppose the last thing I just wanted to say is, like, with your exercise and like even if it's your walks or steps or whatever, just schedule it in and plan it in advance. Don't leave it to when you feel like doing it. Don't leave it to the end of the week, because if you're new to this, you won't do it. You're like, oh yeah, I'll get that done this week sometime. Something's going to come up. And if you're not in the routine of doing it, it's going to be very hard. So schedule it in as if it was a really important meeting with someone that you had to meet at work or something. Okay, schedule it in and get it done. So whether it's an exercise class, it's a gym, maybe it's going for a walk with a friend, just schedule it in. Make sure it's in your notebook or in your diary so that it gets done. And the earlier in the week, the better, because at least that sets you up for success with that. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap up the first video. I hope you've enjoyed it to some extent. I'm going to be making more of these as the weeks go on. I'm going to be, again, maybe trying to show you different things, maybe meals, how the workouts and stuff are going as well. So I'll try to keep this as interactive as I can. If you enjoyed the video or if you're listening back to the podcast, let me know, because any feedback at any of this would be greatly, greatly appreciated.